These Hummers look great at night. I love the roof lighting and everything, but one thing I'm not a big fan of were the incandescents. I've already put LEDs on mine, clearance lights and everything, and it just looks fantastic. Makes the truck look really fresh and new. And when you do the parking lights, they flash on and off instantly. Looks really, really cool. And that's the same deal for the back of the truck. Put all LED lights on it. I'll be showing you how to put LED turn signals in your H2. Let me show you what bulbs I used, and I'll show you how I did it. I found these are the brightest LED bulb replacements you can get. I believe this is the model number, SLJ4. They're made by Sealight, but on Amazon they don't mention the model number, they just call them Sealight LEDs. These are 3157. They offer them in different colors. These are amber, obviously, but these are extremely bright. Much, much brighter than the standard halogen 3157s. These are about $50 a pair. I actually got them half off for $25, which is really awesome. These do also come with built-in resistors, but in some cases the resistance may not be high enough to make your turn signals not hyperflash, so you might need an additional resistor. I know if you watch my video on putting LED turn signals and bulbs on a Dodge Viper, you'll see I had to put additional resistors with these, as these alone were not enough to make the vehicle not hyperflash. Depending on what vehicle you have, installation can be very easy or very difficult. On my Hummer, you just turn this socket and then pull the bulb straight out. And to install the new bulb, you just press in like that, and then your new bulb is installed. It takes just a couple of seconds. This will be a good test of how bright they are. The truck's in direct sunlight. This one is LED, that one is the old incandescent. Let's see how they compare. It's very obvious, even in direct sunlight, that this one is way brighter than this one over here. And the high filament, again, there's no comparison. The new LED is many, many times brighter than the old incandescent. Let's do the rear turn signals. So you'll need a T27. Take these two screws out. Take those screws out and then just pop the housing. On the H2, this is your brake light, this is your turn signal, and this is the reverse light. My brake light socket was actually kind of damaged, so I ended up having to put a little hot glue around mine to keep it in place, but it still works just the same. So I've got the incandescent in the left, LED in the right, and you can tell it's just an astronomical difference. The camera doesn't even comprehend what's going on really, but it is a massive difference in brightness. The difference is also very apparent on the front being both LED. Here's the truck with the parking lights on and all LEDs in. You can see it is incredibly bright. The camera is kind of over-exaggerating the glare, but it's extremely bright. I did get a new flasher. It's this Novita LM487. You can get it on Amazon. I found Rock Auto had the lowest price. All I did was grab this panel. Well, first I removed the fuse panel cover. Then I just kind of pulled this out. It's got a couple push clips on it. Just gently pulled it out. I got it kind of at an angle. It isn't too bad to get. It's kind of hard to get your hand in here. As you can see how the pins are laid out there. You can kind of lightly wiggle it back into place. And then you'll have to kind of pull on a little harder. Make sure it's set in there all the way. There we go. Before I put the panel back on, I'll turn the ignition on and make sure everything works. Everything's working well. But even after putting in the LED flasher, my turn signal filament is actually stuck on high, which is quite unusual. But if you notice, these marker lights are barely on right now. At least the front one is. This one's a little dimmer than normal as well. But here's what's interesting. Currently the headlights are on. Let me turn them off. Now, it's no longer stuck on high. And what's interesting, the turn signals will work properly now. Look at that. But as soon as you turn the headlights back on, it goes back to dim on the side markers, and the front stuck on high. Now this one's attempting to flash, but as you can see, this is just stuck on high element. You might notice, if you look very closely, is those lamps are actually very slightly illuminated even when the parking lights are just on. If I turn them off, they go off. See that? The rear is actually working properly. So I think the problem is actually in the front, and let me show you how we're gonna fix that. The side markers and turn signals on this truck are made to do what's called shunting. The way that this works is the ground for this LED light actually goes through the high filament of the turn signal bulb. And when you have an incandescent, the high marker element will not illuminate because it's actually a lower ohmage than the side marker. So what's happening here is this side marker is actually powering our high filament on the front of the vehicle, which is what's causing this weird situation where this side marker is kind of dim but sort of working, and this is illuminated in high filament all the time. What you can correct that with are these load resistors. In reality, you can actually just put these load resistors on and you won't even need that LED turn signal flasher. So what I'm going to do is splice this in. I'm going to mount it somewhere over here where it won't matter if it gets hot, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. But what this does is it gives a path for the side marker to ground without illuminating the LED. Now the point of this is we got a 6 ohm. You could probably get like a 10 ohm. I just got the 6 because it's a pretty standard one. And this should draw about 2 amps, so it's nothing significant. It's about the same as a regular halogen filament. What we're going to do is we're going to cut into the blue and the black on each turn signal socket, and we're going to splice that resistor, one leg on this one leg on this one. The polarity doesn't matter. Now to prove my point, I've got the resistor in there. You see the high filament's on. The marker light is alternating barely. Watch when I do this. Hooked up the resistor, and look at that, works perfectly. Let off the resistor, stops working. That's because the marker light is actually grounding through the resistor when I hook up the resistor, as you can see. And this solves our weird alternating light problem. Like I said, I'm just gonna hook these up, solder this, then I'll get this resistor somewhere. It does get kind of warm, so I'll try to mount it maybe right here. This is fiberglass, I don't think it'll have a problem there, really anywhere else to mount it anyway. After soldering the connections, had some heat shrink, shrunk it down, tucked all the wires back into the loom. This is the final product. Looks pretty good, pretty neat installation, and the best part, the turn signals now work properly on the truck. So if you put LEDs on your truck and your turn signals are doing that weird flash thing with the side markers, hopefully this was helpful to you. All you really need to do is put that load resistor and that'll solve your problems. And really you don't even need the LED flasher if you do that. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.